What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. We are diving into a couple different things today, and I need to get dressed and I will meet you in the shop. So long story short, the roof is getting worked on, so it's kind of loud, so I can't film a whole lot, but I got the new V-bands for the G-body in the mail, and they were the same as the old ones, so they just happened to work out. Unlike last time I don't know what happened, but I noticed that when I put the tips back on, it was rubbing the floor now a little bit. But I went and put a couple slits in the pipe, and I put just a little bit of a bend in it so it will not rub the floor. And I'm going to weld that back up, and then we're going to rip the shit out of this thing, and hopefully it's fixed. I ran out of welded wire, so I'm gonna have to go get it. But Jack is just pounding away on the roof, getting her sealed up for me. Alright guys, so if I'm doing this in the right order, it is the next morning and we left off on the exhaust on the car because I ran out of welder wire. But I got more welder wire, and instead of working on that yesterday, we worked on the shop roof. So this whole shop roof has a single layer of a rubber-based something roofing, I don't know. But while I wait for the lift to warm up and Jack to get his van roof done and the stuff, we're gonna go ahead and finish up this exhaust real quick, and then I'll grind it smooth and it'll look like nobody was ever in here, and then we can hopefully fire this thing up and it's gonna be crispy clean this time. Oh, that would just tickle me pink. That would be the most amazing thing ever, let me tell you. All right, so my flashlight died and I didn't get it ground down because I can't really see under the car that well. I need to get some lights on my lift arms. But we are going to try to fire this thing up now, and I would imagine the battery is probably gonna be just fine because law of attraction. So we're gonna turn this on and it's gonna start right up. All right, let's see what happens. Well, the fan's turned on. I don't hear a fuel pump. That's what I don't hear. Why do I not hear a fuel pump? Oh boy, here we go again. One of these love-hate days with this damn car. I don't have a PCM plugged in. That's why the fuel pump didn't turn on. Let me get one of these plugged in and we'll see how it runs. All right, let's give this a go again. Now I don't hear nothing. Oh yeah, I killed the main power. All right, let's try this one more time. Got a fuel pump, got the fans. I know what will fix this. I told you it would fix it. Hey, just as I was thinking, hey, what am I gonna do next in this video? I gotta get my throttle cable put back together, and for the life of me, I can't find my bracket anywhere. I got dipsticks, I got throwout bearings, I got injectors, but no throttle bracket for this car. I don't know where it got set. So I'm gonna show you what I do to make a throttle cable. And the first thing you're gonna need is a stock throttle cable bracket. I just dumped an injector out of this intake. Nice. Once you get your stock bracket off, go ahead and mark it how you want it cut. I like to cut the factory bolt locations off and take this cruise control cable spot off. And then I am left with just the square one for the throttle cable, and then I can drill my hole where I need it. So I like to run my throttle cable underneath the fuel rail setup and just bolt it down to the back fuel rail bolt. And I use a sheathing that you can grab at any auto parts store that they have on hand in their universal section. And then for the cable, I just go to the local hardware store and get a whole bunch of it and some cable crimps at the ends, and I make my own. Now, I believe the spot that I use for the throttle is the cruise control. And if you don't have this little plastic piece, there is a couple different designs. They can be found at your local junkyard or possibly even the parts store. I'm not real sure. I've never had to look for one. I've had a few laying around, and I'll just go to the local pick and pull when I need one. But what I'm gonna do is move this back a couple teeth, and then I'll pull all of this tight, and I'll mark and drill my hole for that bolt, and then it will just sit right underneath the fuel system, out of the way, and you have a nice tight cable. And just like that, we got another throttle bracket cable put on. Throttle cable is hooked up. And we need to bring this bad mammer jammer up to temp so we can check that tranny fluid one more time. Now, if y'all remember one of the last videos with this car, we were fighting some pretty serious problems, O2 sensors, PCM problems. I accidentally unlocked a PCM that the O2 sensors weren't working on, and I also found out was a drive-by-wire PCM, which didn't have a drive-by-cable section in the PCM, which is why I ultimately reverted over to the 6-liter Express Van PCM. The Express Vans have the drive-by cable and drive-by-wire option in the PCM already, so I will opt for them every single time here on out if I'm doing anything 6-liter related. So we also got to get this tach hooked up, and I got to figure out where I want it. I got the shift light up on the corner of the dash. I like that there. I'm just not real sure where to put that big monster tach at. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna sink it right in the middle above this column, and then I'll put these 2 gauges on either side of it. But I was also thinking that I might want a speedometer now, and I haven't even looked to see what size those are. But if I can get a 5-inch speedometer to match my 5-inch tach, and then my 2.5-inch gauges on each side of it, I think it's gonna turn out pretty all right. But that's going to come later down the road. We got to get this thing dialed in somewhat so we can get the trans brake put on. We can get the slicks put back on it so we can show up to the track and start bullying people, since nobody wants to play in the streets with us. And the local PD in my area are cracking down pretty hard. So we're going to play around at the drag strip. That's also another reason I got the RX-7, so we got more motorsports action so we can go drifting, because the drifting world is absolutely crazy on top of it. And my buddy Cole's got his drift car, which is a piece of shit, sitting outside my shop. That thing is an absolute headache. I'm not sure what his plans are. I think he's gonna tear it somewhat apart and try a couple different things. The new battery that he bought was no good. So it's gonna be absolutely the worst feeling in the world if we called it quits and it was just a battery stopping us. I might lose a little bit of sleep. But before I start wrapping up on this thing, I'm gonna throw another coat on the roof. Well, let's wrap up this video. I did order some parts for the G-body, but we are overtaking the shop right now. Still fixing the roof, and I'd just like to show you guys that whatever it takes to get the job done is what it takes. So somehow, some way, we put this lift in here up over the car lift, and Jack is filling in some foam. And we started because there's one over on that side right there. And then somehow we got to come back over here and get one on that side. But I'm not sure how we're going to get that side yet. I will go ahead and fill in all the holes in the walls at a later date. But all the plastic can come down finally. Well, last time we were here, we were facing the other direction. So we're making progress. This whole half is now sealed up, all the cracks and everything for good. And about to throw another coat on the roof and call it a day, I think.